Okay, everybody. Well, welcome back. Now, you might be wondering what happened to the other stream. Well, hopefully it survives because got a lot of interesting stuff there in the little hour that I was on. This is a continuation of the live stream. I got cut off because, well, I didn't know this happens, but apparently on YouTube, I had my reminders set to remind me to take a break. And that message came in and completely ended or interrupted the live stream. So we're going to try this again, and thankfully we've got another train coming. So I've got the phone set up. We're going to go take a look at this train, which we're going to make kind of a long way around and go up Rutledge Hill to see this train. Hopefully my phone thing will stay put now. The train is thundering up the hill right now. We're down at Clay Street on the BNSF. And so we're gonna head up Rutledge Hill and hopefully intercept this train up there. And hopefully my phone case will stay put this time. Yeah, it looks like that is train 261 maybe. So we're gonna hightail it up there and hopefully get to see this train without any more interruptions. So anyway, what happened was I had my settings on YouTube to remind me every hour that it's time to take a break. And that message came up and that completely interrupted and ended, from what I can gather, ended the live stream. And you know, I couldn't believe that happened. Of course, this is the first time, this is a learning experience. This is the first time I've ever done a live stream. And so stuff like that's gonna happen. And I think that video might be saved on YouTube. I actually went back and watched part of it, so I think it might be saved somewhat. I don't know if it's just not showing up in my video feed yet or what, but hopefully it gets saved because we got to see that whole little faux pas with the Canadian Pacific southbound train going into emergency multiple times on Rutledge Hill. We got to see it happen 2 times. It happened 3 different times, and we got to see the last 2 unfold live. For all of you watching my very first, well, this is like part 2 of my very first live stream. Man, are they gone already? Shoot. I don't know, but I think that train may already be by. It's kind of mind-boggling. So, let's see. I don't know if we can get up there or not. We'll try. But the only downside to going up and getting CP trains and going away from the BNSF is that you might miss some trains on the BNSF. But we're going to take that chance just so we can get, you know, some sort of action along with that first train. I didn't even know there was another train in the CP yard, so we'll see what happens here. So we're driving through downtown Ottumwa. We're going to try and head towards the top of Rutledge Hill. And I don't know if we'll make it or not. We'll try. But it almost looked like that train was already through, which I don't know how it could be. But what I saw were sand hoppers. So it might be a sand train. And if that's the case, it could very well have already gotten through. All right. So we're en route to our next filming location, which will be the top of Rutledge Hill or somewhere around there. We might actually go further up to the milepost 297. We'll see here. Okay, A train. Thank you very much for the tip-off. Just reached Caldwell Street. All right, here we go. Wow. Yeah, it is indeed a very short train. We might not get there in time. Yeah, they've already cleared Caldwell Street. If they've already cleared Caldwell Street. Well, we'll try. But well, yeah, so they've already cleared Caldwell Street. And yeah, it's gonna be iffy. I don't know if we'll be able to get there in time. I don't know if I want to try at this point. We'll see. We'll see what we can do here. I haven't heard him say Mileboard Rutledge yet. But they're zipping up. They're going pretty quickly up that hill. It must be a very short train. So anyways, guys, sorry about the little cutoff earlier. Hopefully that first video gets saved onto YouTube. I don't know what happens when it abruptly ends like that. I was able to go back and rewatch it, so hopefully it's saved, because that would kind of suck to miss out on all that CP excitement that we just got to see. It's too bad it had to take almost an hour to unfold, but you know, just imagine the crew trying to deal with all of that. And you know, this is their job. It's what they do every day. It's like, I mean, that stuff has got to be really discouraging for them. Well, we just happen to be hitting all the lights right as we come up here into northern Ottumwa, heading towards Rutledge Hill. I'll turn the phone there so it's a little more even. We may or may not get to see this train. So just warning everybody, we might not get there in time, but if it was a long train, we definitely would get there in time. And I actually wasn't, you know, I wasn't really booking it up here because I just assumed, of course that's what happens when you assume. I assumed that it was a long train and not a short train. We might get up there quickly. We're going to take a little detour here, kind of with this red car, which that's actually not a turning lane, by the way. But and we'll show you kind of one of my little shortcuts. If I don't think I'm going to make the train, if I don't think I'm going to make the train at the top of Rutledge, I'll go this way. TTPO number 153-3261, good and valid, date is 1649-1649 MJR. Now this is East Rochester Street here in Ottumwa, and it'll turn into what I believe is 120th Avenue, and that'll take you straight up to the CP tracks. So while we're winding our way around here, the train is coming up Rutledge Hill right now. All right, yeah, we're waiting. Okay, we're back. We got internet issues out here now, but that's okay.
Main line in and watch your nose.
Okay, that's yeah, that's another thing you have to think about out here is you've got internet issues. So there might be, but I wouldn't think there'd be too many difficult.
260 starting at 1651.
Oh man. One thing I would not want to catch on a live stream is a car accident. So, all right, road turns to gravel. All right. So right up ahead, I don't know if you can see it yet, there's a blue water tower. And that, ooh, sorry about that. Road's kind of wobbly through here, so I apologize. Blue water tower that you can see up ahead. This is really shaky here, if the train is up here. The CP tracks are going to be right before that blue water tower that you can see up ahead. I got a comment a few minutes ago, when are you uploading the 2022 Old Threshers video? I'm working on it right now. I actually finished and uploaded the narration for that video to the computer a couple days ago. So I am working on it. Hope to get it up maybe next month. Shouldn't take me too long to get it together, but I am working on it, so for those of you patiently waiting for the 2022 Old Threshers video, it is in the works, it is coming. I've got a couple more videos that I'm going to make after that, which I might talk about here later on if the internet cooperates. Well, okay, folks, and it's just right here, so we're just going to back up and let it go by. This is kind of a neat scene here. Well, this is a northbound, very short train. Let's see if I can zoom in a little there. There we go. And we'll roll down the window. Here we go. All right, train number 2. Now, I don't know if that was a very short 261 or something else. I don't know. But yeah, that was train number 2, and that was... So my theory of coming up here proved correct. Would not have got it at West Rochester Street, so... As A-Train just chimed in earlier and said timing. Yep, perfect timing. Well, thanks to everybody that's kind of sticking around through all this. It was kind of slow going at first, but I think things might be picking up a little bit. A-Train says sometimes the local gets sent north every now and then. That could be. That could be the local. K82 used to be B82, but about a year ago, CP renumbered all of their trains for whatever reason. I don't know why, but the local was B82. It is now K82. That could have been it. Not sure. We're going to turn around at this random house and go back into Ottumwa. See if there's anything going on BNSF. Now, the train that had all the trouble, the CP train that had all of the trouble earlier, the second section of 260, that was departing. I heard on the radio it was departing Ottumwa about
Mile 9546, Ottumwa 553, actual no alone. Mile 9546, out.
I was hoping in that response to the defect detector that they would announce what train they were, but it was kind of on the fringe. I could not hear it, so we'll just have to wonder what that was. It could very well have been the local. Hodgepodge of cars. Kind of looked like what you would see on a normal 261, but those trains are never that small. They are much longer than that usually. So those of you tuning back in, welcome, welcome, welcome. We just saw our second train. Interestingly, both trains we've seen today have been Canadian Pacific. And I did not know that either of the trains were in town until right about when I first started filming. So now, a short little funny story about this phone mount that I bought. I first had it mounted on the windshield, and within maybe 5 minutes of driving, right at the beginning of the first live stream before it cut out, the suction started to come off of the windshield, so my phone must be a little too heavy to support that. So right before I started the stream again, I repositioned the mount to be on the dash, so I think that's working better. So we'll see how long the suction lasts on it. So this is going to be kind of bumpy coming back into Ottumwa on 120th Avenue. Now, I did hear that there is possibly a eastbound BNSF train approaching, but before all the CP excitement, the dispatcher was talking to a BNSF train about how they're going to be first out at the ice to be recrewed. So I don't know. Oh, man. I don't know if that train will actually come through or not. I'll have to see. Always nice to get back on pavement. So we are coming back into Ottumwa. We went out of Ottumwa just a little bit to see that CP train that just went by about 5 minutes ago. So if you're just tuning in, I might rewind the live stream and check that out real quick. We're coming back into Ottumwa. See what's going on here. We might be out for another, I don't know, maybe 30, 45 minutes before calling it quits. It's unfortunate that the first over an hour was that CP train. It had all of the trouble. For those of you just tuning in, the first train that I got on the first part of the live stream, which, like I said, I don't know if that's retrievable or not, or if it's just stuck in limbo, because a YouTube reminder telling me to take a break, cut off the live stream. But you would think that YouTube would make a way to have notifications come up within the app that would not interrupt what you're doing in YouTube. But for whatever reason, it did interrupt the stream, so I had to start a new one. So this is the continuation of that stream. But in the first part of the live stream, CP train 260, which turned out to be an auto rack train with just one locomotive, was coming down the hill and went into emergency It had already gone into emergency once before I started filming. And then as it came down the hill, it went into emergency again, 2 times. We got to see that in the first part of the live stream. And that whole process took over an hour for that train to get through. So now we're going to go back into downtown Ottumwa and potentially see some more trains. I don't know if there will be any more. We'll see. Ironically, we have not seen anything on BNSF yet. But before I started the live stream, right before I started it, 2 BNSF trains went through. So this is the very first attempt at a live stream for me. Not including a couple of kind of ill-fated live streams on Facebook, which I might talk about later on if there's time. We're at Highway 149. We're going to be turning left to head back into town. It is a beautiful day here in Ottumwa. The weather's about, almost 60 degrees, 56 degrees. Now, one thing you'll notice about the roads here in Ottumwa is that they are very rough and bumpy. So every time we go over a every time we go over a hole cover, it seems like it shakes this, this phone mount. So my apologies to everybody watching and getting their teeth rattled. Ottumwa roads are what they are. We'll just leave it at that. Don't want to get into a discussion of local politics at this time. In fact, I try to keep politics out of discussion on this channel. This is a train channel. We're just going to talk about trains. It's kind of a new concept I've thought of doing after seeing some other YouTubers doing live streams of trains. And I thought, well, maybe I'll give it a try. Canadian Pacific has been putting on a show for us today. Somebody has come. I know Ottumwa all too well. Well, so do I. Have a lot of family history here. My mom was born in Ottumwa. My wife was born in a lot of family history in this town. Watching train 20 years almost. I took my first video ever of a train here in Ottumwa when I was 10 years old, back in 2002. Probably filmed more trains here than any other place on earth. Well, most definitely. I saw a note from A Train about something might be something in the yard. BNSF yard. You might venture down that way a little ways. I don't know, I couldn't quite read it. Can't really read a lot of these comments while I'm driving. It is busy. It is really busy out here right now. Stay put. Stay put. If I start talking to the cars, just ignore me. Let's see here. But continuing on about YouTube telling me to take a break, which is, I'd only been on YouTube an hour. I bet a lot of people are on YouTube much longer than that, but that somehow ended the first live stream. So I have turned off that setting now. So if for some reason the live stream were to go more than an hour again, then you won't have to worry about that. So we're back in downtown Ottumwa now. Straight ahead of us is the train station. And we'll make a left-hand turn here and head on down to the train yard and see if there's anything going on there. Everything seems to be kind of silent on the BNSF right now. This is downtown Ottumwa. Really nice lighting through here right now. There's not near as much down here as there used to be, but there's a lot of people in local government that's trying to get things revitalized and bring things back. We hope the best for them. One of the things they've done recently, more recent years, is start to renovate the old Ottumwa Theater. You can see there on the left. There are a few businesses still down here, a few restaurants. We're going to turn right here on Green Street and see if maybe we can get a visual on any possible trains approaching. And looks to be pretty quiet. If you saw him in the... Well, I don't think so, because I was trying to get the phone on the dock at that time. I don't think I'd restarted the video at that point, but I have a pair of Chicago Cubs fuzzy dice that were kind of in the way of my phone, so I'm trying to read comments as those fuzzy dice are kind of whacking me in the face, so I just now took them down. So we're kind of going the back ways here through kind of towards the old train yard, BNSF train yard. I don't think there's anything back there right now, but so about 5:45 or so, we'll wrap it up for the day. Well, we'll see if we get anything else in the meantime. Hopefully we do. The one thing about doing a live stream is you can't look at the many rail cams that are around here now and see if there's anything else coming. I don't know if there's a way to live stream and look at other things on your phone at the same time. It'd be kind of nice. I can see notifications, but I don't know if I could actually get out of it and do something else. Probably not. But I don't know. Like I said, this is the first live stream I've done. I've attempted. This is the Vine Street crossing on BNSF. And the yard looks pretty empty. In fact, there's like very little equipment in the yard right now. Maybe like 3 tank cars and about 5 or 6 hoppers, and that's about it. Oh. A-Train just sent me a message. I just missed it. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and find a place to park a car so I can read some of your comments as they come in. Pay no attention to the traffic on the road, lady. So we'll probably go down to McLean Street and park the car there. Oh, good grief. Yeah, we got a red sports car trying to pull onto the road behind me. Jeez. I usually kind of station myself down at McLean Street because it's a good place to look at the westbound signals on the BNSF. See if they're lit. If they are lit, it usually means that there's some sort of movement nearby. Obviously, if they're dark, that means that there's nothing going on for a while. And obviously, if they are lit and the westbound signal is green, then you know that there's something coming. If you catch it when it first comes on and it's green, it could take anywhere between like 15-20 minutes for the train to actually show up. Kind of hope there's some more action, so it's not just a bunch of, this video isn't just a bunch of driving around, but more people joining us right now. We are going to go west to the McLean Street grade crossing and just kind of park ourselves for a while and see if maybe anything else is coming. The radio's been kind of silent for a while, so I don't think we've missed anything on the BNSF, but I don't know. This is the Gateway Drive crossing, BNSF. don't know if you remember, I don't know if I brought it up, but there is a BNSF train going into the CP yard right now. So we'll go ahead and take a look at the tail end of that thing. That might explain why there isn't any more traffic at the moment. BNSF exchanges coal trains to the Canadian Pacific here in Ottumwa. There are two different trains. One of them goes to Muscatine Power and Water, and that's the train that used to be numbered, because I don't have all these numbers memorized yet because I was so used to the old numbering system. The Muscatine Power and Water trains were numbered 828 for the inbound train, loaded train. 829 was the empty southbound train returning to Ottumwa. The trains originate from the Powder River Basin in Wyoming on BNSF. Here in Ottumwa, they are exchanged to the CP for the remainder of their journey to Muscatine or the train that BNSF interchanges. There's the mid-train units there. Or actually, that's the end. That's the end of the train.
Go ahead. Pulling in.
So I didn't get a chance to see what the hopper cars were on that train. So I don't know which one that train will become once it gets flipped around. But the other cool train that BNSF interchanges to the CP here in Ottumwa is what used to be numbered. Again, I don't know the new numbers off the top of my head, but they used to be numbered 822 and 823. And that was the train going to the Mid-American Power Plant in Fruitland, Iowa. There are two major power plants very close to each other along the Mississippi River in eastern Iowa, Fruitland and Muscatine, and they both receive their coal from CP trains that begin their journey on the CP right here in Ottumwa. And that was one of them there that we just saw the tail end of. Well, maybe now that that's clear, maybe we can get some action now on the BNSF. So everybody that's joined in today, thanks for watching. It's been kind of a slower day than I thought of, but nowadays, with there being fewer trains and
What limits do you need again?
all right, here's McLean Street. We'll pull off here and sit tight for a minute. We'll go for about 30 more minutes, see if there's anything comes along. The signals are off, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything right now. All right, we'll just park it right here so you can kind of get a good view of the gates themselves. And then we'll just sit tight for a minute here and see if maybe something else can come by. So I'm gonna kind of read some of you guys' comments. So like I say, I don't know if there's anything else coming or not. Before I left the house, several hours ago now, I checked the rail cam in Mount Pleasant, and there weren't any westbound trains that had gone through Mount Pleasant an hour before I left the house. So I don't know course, again, that was hours ago. There could be more trains coming, but I don't think, I mean, I don't know if I've missed any BNSF trains or not. Yeah, this is the BNSF that we're looking at right now. McLean Street crossing.
So you want a Waller for the up, correct? Dispatch service of 8462. Dispatch service of 8462.
Yes, this is a quiet zone in Ottumwa, unfortunately, on the BNSF now. It has been for about, well, over 3 years now, which is incredible.
All right, big bracket time number 220.
Yeah, we had the BNSF dispatcher. I don't know if you could hear him just there. He was talking to 8400 numbered locomotive somewhere. I don't know. I don't know if that was I don't know if that's a train that hasn't come by yet, or if it was the number of that train that just pulled in. It probably wasn't, because I did not hear.
Good traffic time. 220 update of 1723. 1723.
Got a scanner today. Great. Yeah, I've got my own opinions about quiet zones myself, which, you know, I just think it's. Of course, I'm a train enthusiast, obviously, so I love hearing the horns, and but people need to remember is that the engineers, I mean, the reason that's a requirement is because it's about safety. I mean, trains are very large, and interestingly, they're very quiet when they're approaching. So, I mean, that's why the horns are there, and that's why they've gotten so loud over the years, and louder over the years, because trains are very large machines, but they can approach so quietly. And without that horn, if you're not paying attention, a train can get up right next to you, and you will have no idea that it's there unless you're paying attention. And obviously, in a quiet zone, an engineer can sound the horn if it's an emergency. But by then, I mean, is it too late? I mean, do you have enough time to get off the tracks? And so my opinion is that, I mean, quiet zones are they can be dangerous. I mean, I've gotten used to the one here in Ottumwa, and I've been to Fairfield and Burlington since they put theirs in. And yeah, at this point, I mean, I miss the horns. I really do. But at this point, I mean, it is what it is. I mean, railroading is railroading. I mean, it's just part of watching trains in Ottumwa now. There just happens to be no horns. I don't like it, and I don't really think it's a good idea necessarily, but it is what it is. And the powers that be wanted it to happen, and it's just kind of one of those things that when they set their mind to something like this, they're going to get it. And they did. And I think their whole idea was if we silence the train horns, which a lot of people are starting to complain about the noise and stuff like that, and the powers that be would think that you're not going to attract any, because they're trying to get people to move their businesses downtown and stuff, and they're not going to get people downtown when there are all these trains going through with their horns blaring, you know. So their argument, I guess, was that if we silence the train horns, it'll make downtown more attractive for businesses and for people who want to live downtown. I mean, there's a lot of nice housing, apartments downtown now, but so far prosperity really hasn't returned to Ottumwa like, you know, they promised that it would. So I don't know if silencing the train horns really would have made a difference, but regardless, it's happened now. I mean, I'll get off my soapbox now, but it's just part of Ottumwa now. It's about 5:30. We're gonna go for maybe another 15 minutes or so, and then we'll call it quits for today. But you know, this is just the beginning. I mean, I have every intention of continuing to do these live streams. We got quite a bit of, you know, decent action today, even though it's not very many trains. We did see quite a bit of action today, even if we don't see anything else. But I don't know. I don't know if we'll see anything else or not. This is kind of, I mean, doing a live stream it's kind of forcing yourself to go back to kind of the old school way of rail fanning, where pretty much all you have is your camera, your scanner, and your eyes, just to tell you when the next train will be. And if, you know, you just kind of have to make an educated guess and hope you see something. And sometimes you get a lot, sometimes you don't get anything. You just take what you get. We got to see 2 CP trains, so that was pretty good. I really appreciate all you guys for sticking around throughout all this excitement we've had today. I'm entertaining the idea of doing some live streams of Amtrak coming into town. There's a lot of people really enjoy seeing Amtrak coming into different towns, especially on all the rail cams that are around. It's amazing how popular a lot of the rail cams are. Like the ones, sorry about that. The ones from like Virtual Railfan, those are so popular. The one in Galesburg, whenever Amtrak is close by in Galesburg, you can have at times hundreds of people watching those rail cams. It's just amazing. It's really neat that so many people are interested in seeing the trains come in live, and a lot of times I tune in too. It's a really great way to kind of get a heads up of what's coming down the line. So I think rail cams are kind of the future aid in helping rail fans know what trains are coming. Down the line, railroads are probably going to digitize their radio frequencies or change their radio frequencies so they're off of regular scanners. And so we might not be able to have scanners eventually. That's been talked about for a while, but and I don't know when that's going to happen, but it's a possibility that someday we might not be able to hear any of the radio conversations on the railroads anymore. But one thing that rail fans have really been using a lot in the past few years, or several years actually, is ATCS Monitor, which I've kind of dabbled around with that myself, and it's pretty cool. But the problem that rail fans are running into now is that a lot of the railroads are starting to go away from using the ATCS frequencies. They're going, I don't really know what they're doing to change the signaling so that they do not send out any of the ATCS signals anymore, and so it makes the ATCS monitor pretty much obsolete. And more railroads are starting to convert sections of their lines over to being non-ATCS compatible. So what do you do when you don't have that anymore to tell you where trains are? And, you know, the scanner, if for some reason someday you're not able to hear conversations on the scanner anymore, what do? I think rail cams are a great way to, I think they're the future of helping rail fans see where trains are. And it's also fun when you're at home just to watch trains going by from places, not just all over America, but all over the world. I mean, there are rail cams. I remember one of the first rail cams that I ever watched online was way back in like 2005, 2006. There was a rail cam in the Netherlands that at a very busy railroad crossing in a busy rail line that live streamed at this railroad crossing, and I remember watching that constantly. And it was just kind of a fad back then because nobody else had done that yet. A-Train says there's a NS leader at Washington, hasn't got through Washington yet. Huh. Well, we're going to be stopping our live stream before then, unfortunately, but been out for a couple hours. But yeah, I think the rail cams are a real neat new form of rail fanning. And one part of you thinks, well, will rail cams eventually replace, you know, a lot of rail fans going out and taking video along the tracks? I don't think so. I think if anything, it'll encourage people to get into the hobby that may not be doing it right now. But I think the real advantage, the real pro to rail cams, I'm kind of reading the comments as I go along here. Apparently there's a southbound train in Washington right now, or approaching Washington. One of the great pros of rail cams is that it gives you a heads up of where trains are. If you happen to live along a rail line or you live nearby, it gives you a heads up of trains that might be coming. That will allow you to go down to the tracks and get ready and get your own pictures or video, whatever you enjoy doing. So I think it's a great resource now, and YouTube is just a great resource to have all of these rail cams popping up all over the place now. Another great channel that if you guys aren't aware of yet, be sure to go check it out and subscribe. Steel Highway Rail Cams. They have a lot of local rail cams around here. There's two in Ottumwa. There's one on the Main Street Donuts building, which is literally right behind me. And there's also one on the CP. The owner of Main Street Donuts has a small building next to the Caldwell Street crossing on the CP. And both of those are operated by the Steel Highway Rail Cams YouTube page. They have those rail cams. There's a rail cam in Washington, which you guys have been discussing Washington a little bit here in the video. There's a rail cam there. There's also two in Mount Pleasant. There's one, there's a few up along the river subdivision of the CP up there along the Mississippi River in Iowa. There's some in Dubuque. And then, of course, you've got all of the, there's one in Calmer, Iowa. I used to live up in Decorah, which is right north of Calmer. And we used to come through Calmer all the time. And it was a big deal to see trains going through there. So there's a rail cam there and a bunch of other places. Steel Highway is adding cameras all the time. They have actually recently this is McLean Street right here. I don't know if you guys are talking about this crossing in particular, but yeah, Steel Highway Rail Cams is adding more and more cameras all the time. And Virtual Rail Fan is probably the most popular rail cam provider right now on YouTube. And if you pay, you can unlock access to a bunch of other cameras. I don't pay for it, but there's quite a few free rail cams on YouTube right now. that virtual rail fan has. Like I was about ready to say, Steel Highway rail cams actually started one of their own rail cams in Fort Madison, along with Virtual Railfan has one there as well. Virtual Railfan also has one in La Plata, Missouri, on the BNSF Marceline subdivision. And of course, they've got the one in Galesburg, which is very popular. We got a fire truck coming if anybody's interested in fire trucks. This might be our last bit of action for the day, is a fire truck going by. And the Galesburg cam is really popular because there are 8 different Amtrak trains that stop in Galesburg daily. California Zephyr, Southwest Chief, Illinois Zephyr, and the Carl Sandburg all stop in Galesburg, and the camera is just right next to the depot in Galesburg. So obviously for Ottumwa, if you ever want to know what's on the westbound, did the big boy come here in Ottumwa? No, it did not. This unfortunately is BNSF rails. Union Pacific doesn't typically operate their special trains too far away from their home rails. So there have been a few instances where they have in certain cities, but usually they don't. That'd be neat if it did, though. Well, we got about 10 more minutes, folks, and we're probably going to call it a day. We'll see if there are any more trains here in the meantime. We'll just keep talking about trains.
Red 9811 North.
Yeah, we're talking about UP steam now. Yeah, A train is correct. Last steam train on this track was Frisco 1522 in 1995, and at that time, now at that time I was living in Decorah, which I just mentioned not too long ago, so I was not in the area when 1522 came through. Of course, I was only about 4 years old at the time, but my grandpa, he was up here in Ottumwa at the time, and he actually got video of the train. And one time when they came up and visited us in Decorah, he showed me the video, which I only remember seeing that one time. I don't know what happened to it, but he was out. Somebody took a picture of him actually filming the train when it made its service stop here in Ottumwa back in '95. I really wish I had that video. It would be so cool to see now. What I remember of it is he was on the station platform with 1522 coming through the Ottumwa depot. And A train is also correct. The last steam train that actually came through Ottumwa was Milwaukee Road 261 in 2005. There was which, even though I lived in the area in 2005, I didn't know about that, so I didn't get to see that one either. So. But that was the last steam train that actually came through Ottumwa, was Milwaukee Road 261. Now, there is some talk about the Canadian Pacific Kansas City creation, which is going to happen in about a month, I think, if everything goes well. Canadian Pacific and Kansas City Southern merging. There was talk of bringing down their Royal Hudson locomotive. I think they're in the process of restoring it right now. There is talk about taking that engine on a grand tour from Canada to Mexico on the new combined railroad. It's kind of a celebratory and celebration of the merger going through. There was talk of that happening, maybe even this year. I mean, I'm not sure. But if that were the case, then that engine would be coming right through Ottumwa, right down, just right past where we are right now, kind of behind the crossing box there. So if that happens, I will definitely be out to see that. You might see it in one of my videos. I might go ahead and live stream it too. You never know. But yeah, this is just the first live stream of many. I'm actually pretty satisfied with the way that it records on my phone. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and turn this off now. If anything comes by in the next 5 minutes, we'll either see it or we won't. But now I'm pleased at the reception that I've had too. I mean, a lot of people have. I mean, it's held steady, you know, pretty much the whole live stream, about 8-10 people. Yeah, you're welcome, Mark. This is just the first of many, and I'm probably going to live stream at other places too, wherever I'm at. So if you guys have any suggestions of where you'd like to see live stream trains here and there for a couple hours, just let me know. And over the past 10 years that, well, really the past 10 years, I've taken a lot of video of trains in Ottumwa. I have so much video in Ottumwa. The stuff that I have uploaded doesn't even scratch the surface of the amount of video that I've actually taken here in Ottumwa in the past 10 years. It could probably keep me occupied making new videos for the next, you know, probably 3 or 4 years, just Ottumwa trains. And I really haven't uploaded very many videos of trains in Ottumwa, but I've got so much footage of trains in Ottumwa. So, I mean, that will eventually come down the pipeline here when I have free time. The next video project I'm working on, the really big video project I'm working on, one of my feature-length videos, is Old Threshers. From last year, 2022 Old Threshers. I'm working on that one right now. I'm just starting it. And I'm also starting to work on, believe it or not, some of the Union Pacific stuff that I got in 2019 with the Big Boy. I actually followed the Big Boy all the way across Iowa in 2019 when it made its inaugural run through Iowa on the Union Pacific. So that'll be my next video. After Old Threshers, it's going to be, the working title of it's going to be Union Pacific in Iowa, Big Boy excursions, and mainline freight trains. It's going to be a compilation of the Big Boy's passage through Iowa, as well as some freight trains that I've got over the past several years along the Union Pacific overland route in Iowa. It's going to be a pretty neat video when it's done. And then the next video after that, probably going to go back to the Iowa Interstate. Got a lot of QJ action that I haven't released yet from 2021 and on. Have some of the excursions that were done in 2021 in Des Moines and out in eastern Iowa. And then the following year, last year, the QJs run back to where it is now, which is the shops in Silvis. And then after that, the Union Pacific donation special, which which I got it running between Iowa City and all the way to the Quad Cities. So that'll be third in line on my list of video projects, upcoming video projects. So first Old Threshers will be next, then the Union Pacific Big Boy video compilation, and then the Iowa Interstate. Obviously, you know, when time permits, when I have time to work on them. Don't have any estimated release dates yet, but those are the next 3 videos that I am planning on working on. So, well, it's 5:45 right now, folks. The signals are still dark on BNSF. We're probably going to hit the road here just shortly. But this is just the very first live stream. There's going to be many more. I think this is a really fun medium, live streaming, and being able to interact with you guys in real time, and you guys being able to see the trains that are actually coming by in real time. And obviously, I'm going to try and archive these live streams and maybe put up some highlight reels so that anybody that missed out won't have to search through the whole live stream to get to the highlights. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, this is just the very first of many live streams coming into spring and summer of 2023. So I'll probably start to give you guys some heads up so when I'm thinking of doing the live streams in the future, and then we'll just go from there. Like I said, a lot of probably some Amtrak arrivals into Ottumwa and maybe some neighboring towns here and there. Maybe some BNSF trains. I mean, all this time we have not seen a single BNSF train, but like I said, 2 went by before I started the live stream. So, and there's probably going to be some more this evening, but we've been out for a while, so we're probably gonna pack up and head home now. So, like I said, thanks guys for watching, and this will be the first live stream of many. I'll let you guys know when I'm thinking of doing the next one, or it might just pop up on your notifications, so be on the lookout. Anyways, guys, thanks a lot for watching. We'll see you on down the line. Bye.